Good morning, students and dear parents. I am again in front of you and going to talk about the visual challenged person. This topic is basically a theoretical topic, and there is no nothing for you to do the related to understand more science. But here, why this topic is given in front of you because as we are going to this topic as a light, and light is somewhere it is related to our eye, and one part which we haven't already discussed, that is the if the somebody is able to see the kind of the object in front of them, uh, then what is the reason. But there are the some kind of the person who is not get cannot see any kind of the object, and the person who cannot see the object, that person is basically called as a visually challenged person. And these visually challenged person may be the two kind, that one kind of the person who can see the object but not clearly, and they use um, the to see that object, they are basically use the kind of the things. But there are some person who is not able to see any kind of the object in any circumstances, and that person is basically comes considered in visually challenged person. Now here, there are in your book there is some only small things are given here, but I have given the some more about this visually challenged person. So go through all these things only in per as a note point of the things. You have to note down who is visually challenged and what is the technique used to identify the things. Now, when we talk about the visually challenged, then we have to understand about the some peoples, including children, face with the disability of the visions, and the disability of the vision can be partial or complete disability. Such person are called a visually challenged person. That means if he is not able to see the object clearly, or we called as a partly, then that person is comes under the category of the visually challenged person. A visually challenged person usually show mark marked development of the other senses. These persons are usually show a mark developed of other senses, the sense of hearing. They have a very good sense of hearing. They have a sense of touching. By utilizing these two kind of the things, they understand about the any kind of the person or about the any kind of the object. Now, however, there is a additional resources can be enable them to develop their capabilities further. Now, there are the if somebody is born as a visually challenged person, then there are some techniques to use to increase their sensitizations of hearing, as well as the touching of the senses of the touch. By using, there are the different tools by which they will be able to understand understand the things. Now, on the basis of these resources which is available on the market, that is called the optical aids and non-optical aids. These are the kind of the resources by which the visually challenged person can extend their hearing, as well as their senses of touching abilities. These things can be increased. Now, there what is optical aid? Optical. These points are not given in your book, but to make more understanding, I have given these points. And the optical aid helps the person who is partially visible Challenged optical means there is a aspect by using their aspect the person can be able to see the object. These aids enlarge an image or text so that they could be visible. These optical aids basically what they do, then what it does basically it enlarge the objects or the images and by which the person can be able to see. Now, what are these optical lens? They may be bifocal lens, they may be contact lens, they may be tint lenses, magnifier, and telescope. These are the different tools available for the visually challenged persons by which they will be able to see the object and they will have some understanding about the object. By this, they can understand the things. Now there is another kind of the things that is called the non-optical heads, and that non-optical heads who can use this kind of the things. Then the person who is completely visually challenged person use this kind of the technique that is non-optical aid technique, and in this technique basically use the visual aids. There is a visual aid that is magnifying word, tactual aids that is the sense of touching, and the auditory aid that is a sense of hearing. These three kind of the most important things by which they will be able to understand the kind of the object. In visual world they will be able to read the things. In the tactual aids, they will be able to sense of touching by seeing the or touching the object. They can understand what kind of the object is it. And auditory aids provides the sense of hearing by which they will be able to hear the nearby other object. And there is another important aid that is called the electronic aid, and that electronic aid provides the direction also. And these things are given here. If you want to discuss, if you want to understand these things, these are will be able to um, give you proper direction by which you can more make more understanding. Now here there is a visual aid. When we talk about the visual aid, that can be magnify word. This is the magnify word provide the suitable sense intensity of light. By this suitable intensity means what? So that they will be able to understand the the kind of the word and the material at the proper distance by which they will be able to understand the kind of the things. That is the work of the visual aids. Now when we talk about the tactual aids, the tactual aids is basically includes the um, braille writer, slate and style. These are the some kind of the another kind of the technique which you have to also understand. That is the braille system which are discovered by braille as a who is again a visual challenged person, and who had discovered the braille writer and slate and the styles by which the visual challenged person can be able to detect the kind of things. Now here like taking note, reading and writing these things is the process by which they will be able to understand what kind of the objects are there. Now, in case of auditory aids, that auditory aids is basically that is cassettes, tape, and recorder, talking books, and other such device. This is auditory by which they can feel they can hear the kind of the uh, they can sense the of hearing, create a sense of hearing, and by which there are the so many person will be able to understand the voice uh, as well as their they increase their ability of the hearing. Now there is a called as a closed circuit television, also electronic aids in large printed materials with suitable contrast and illumination. These are the kind of the techniques which are available in the market, and they are available in the market as well as there is a the education are also held in this this kind of the person. Now nowadays use of audio C2 voice box with computer are also very helpful for the listening to and writing the desired text, so that these person will be able to write something. So it is the kind of the technique. The figure which I have shown here, it is the person who is already a visually lies person, a visually challenged person who has discovered this Braille script. And this the name of this person is Louis Braille, and who again, as already told, that a visually challenged person is known as a Braille. The person who is a visually challenged person, that a person is basically known as Braille. Braille code is used for the common language, mathematics, and scientific notation. There are he had developed the common platform by which the visually challenged person can be able to communicate to one another, and also they calculate some kind of the things. Also they will be able to understand the scientific logical capability in their in the means give their in the what we call as a Braille code is a use for common language. These all the person who is not able to see the object, who is not able to communicate the object, they gone through a particular kind of the training, and they will be able to communicate to one another. They will be the solve to the mathematical problem, as will be as they will they are able to take any kind of the scientific decisions. Louis Braille was born in basically in 1819 in France, 1809 in France, and he became a blind due to the some accident in the childhood. He developed the Braille script in 1824. Means only the 19 years age, not 19, only the 18. Say 15 years age, he has developed the Braille script. Now, in this Braille script, there are these things are important which you have to write in your copy also. The Braille system has a 63 raised dot pattern. There are the how many patterns? There are the 63 raised dot pattern, and these dot pattern is based on some characteristics of alphabets, and these alphabets, like here, if there is a this is the pattern for C. If anybody visual challenge wants to write a C, or understand that C, then there is a two dot and there is a two space line. By this the C can be right, and for A there is a one single dot in upper layer, and all the space are blank, and for T there is a one 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 dot right side, and two dot in the middle part, and one dot in the last part. So by this the cats are absorbed. They basically touch these kind of the letter, and by which they can their language, that is called the uh, that is called a, what we call as a cat. Now here how we can write the and this is the pattern by which the ands are right, and how we can use the comma, this is the pattern by use the comma. In this way the braille has made their script, and the visual challenge can read the any kind of the document which is made up of by the braille script. So it is all about your light chapter. Today we have finished this light chapter, and now there are the question answer also I have given here. You can all these question answer is basically your NCRT book. You go through these question answer as already I have discussed. Um, these questions are very easy. Even if you are not be able to understand, then there is a live class. You can ask these questions in the live class. These are the another question, this is another question, there is a another questions are, you go through these question and answer. These things I have already explained. Question number 6, you just go through, all the things are given. Question number 8, in the image, in the image formed by a plane mirror, always I already told, whatever the image will be formed by plane mirror is just equivalent to the image of the object of the source. So enlarge not correct, but the same as the object. So it is a real image behind the mirror, and since it is real image, because of that real image, no, this one, these two answer we cannot be the virtual image behind the mirror and some of the same size of the, so answer will be B. And the kaleidoscope I already told you. Describe the construction. The draw a labeled sketch of the human eye as already shown. There is a activity given in your book, and explain how you can take care of your eye. These points is already given you on your previous slide. What is the angle of incidence if reflected rays is 90 degree? As already told, what is the angle of incident of ray if the refracted rays is at angle 90 to the incident rays? Means the rays, you can see here the angle between the incident rays, and you can see from here incident rays and incident angle and the reflected reflected angle, the sum of incident angle and reflected angle are 90 degree, which is given here. Then we have to find out, since angle of incident and angle of reflection is always equal, that means you can write angle I is equal to angle R is equal to angle I. That means angle I plus angle I will calculate as at 90 degree, and 2 angle I is equal to 90 degree. That means angle I is equal to the 45 degree. Here this figure is also given, and how many images of candle will be formed if it is placed between the two parallel mirror. In the previous class I as already told, to calculate the number of images you have to write down the 360 degree divided by the number of angle given, the angle, and since it is parallel, that means divided by the, in the parallel line there is a no angle are formed. That's why it is a the angle between the parallel line will equal to 0 degree, and the result will come is infinite. Any number which is divided by 0, that infinite, and that infinite, so here infinite image of the candle will be given here. Now here what happened here, and there is a incident angle 30 degree. When this incident angle reflected with the angle of 30 degree, again the 30, since angle of incident is equal to angle of reflection, then what happened here, there is a 30 degree again found, and this 30 degree, when you make a strike point and calculate this angle, the result will come 60 degree. And when if these 60 degree again you made the angle here, you will get the again 60 degree. So according to this mirror, draw a reflected rays from the second mirror, as I already explained, but also mentioned here. These questions are given here. The you have to also talk about the a given in the mirror, can see, can he see himself in the mirror, means A will not able to see himself, as he is not in front of the mirror. That's why he will be not able to see himself. Now the another question also, can he see the image of object situated at PQR, and yes, P and Q can be seen by this person, but R, since is more away from the mirror, that's why the image will not form by R. That's why he will be not able to see the R. So P and Q will be able seen by the bujo, but R cannot be seen by bujo. Similarly, this is the again question. Solution is this, and it is all about your light chapter. So it is all about your light chapter. Till now we have finished the light also. Now what you have to do, you have to complete all these notes. You have to make more and more understanding while the lockdown period, and there is a class is going on, online classes is going on. If you have any kind of the doubt, we will have at that time you will be asked that questions on the in the online classes. I will solve all the problems related to these questions, your doubts. So thank you for today's session. Again we will have the next topic in the next class, that is the natural phenomena. Till the time, you enjoy with your parents as well as your brother and sisters at your home. Thank you for today.